Hey folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Canto 3, Lionhearted, Issue 2 by IDW. Now there is a bit of fighting, a giant mechanical squid, some magic, and mechanical limb gets sliced. So if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, so as you can see, again, the same team. Anyway, it's always been the same artist and writer. Maybe the other ones slightly changed. I can't recall, really. But yes, alright, same team. So we continue where we left off in issue 1. Canto, and if you want to see what happened, I'll leave a link to the video at the end. Alright, so Aluara and Canto travel to the Hermit's Lake. Her name is Bodil. I'll leave it here on screen. I don't know how to pronounce most of these names. But anyway, they go to the Hermit's Lake to try to find information or any clues she might have left behind to where her people are. What Kento's people called slavers. Now, we find out their name. Their name is Vikin. I'll also leave that here on screen. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to pronounce it. But yeah, there are all these, mainly I think farm animals from what I've seen. Like goats, bulls. It's been a while. There wasn't that much of them in the second story, Canto 2 and the Hollow Men. Right. So they go back to the Hermit's Lake. It is completely frozen, and they think that maybe it's because of the Shrouded Man's magic. When the Fury came there to get the Hermit. So they walk on it, and beneath it, before that, Aluara asks Canto, how did you end up in the Hermit's lair the first time? And he tells her how he's been swallowed by the squid. And the mechanical squid. Interesting, she tells him. Then they see under the ice, the mechanical squid, looking at them. And Canto says he's not as scary as I remember. And then he opens his eye, looks at them, and bursts out of the ice. And Canto's like, okay, yeah, just as scary. So they start fighting the mechanical squid. I think Canto should remember that he's not real, that he's a machine. A machine constructed by the Hermit, I think. When Canto first arrives there, in the first story, when he goes on a journey, he goes in there, he's swallowed, him and the mole racks are swallowed by it. And then he sees inside of it the actual little creature that the Hermit took inspiration from. They fight, Aluara, Canto, the mole racks, and Zixia as well. Oh, Zixia is a girl, by the way. I didn't know that. I thought she was a boy. Not bad. So, yes, they are fighting. Aluara gets captured, and Canto goes to her rescue. And he cuts off one of the... Is a squid or an octopus? I think squid, based on the head shape. So Canto cuts off the one tentacle, Aluara is free, and then suddenly the squid speaks. He says, hey, that wasn't very nice. Yeah, he speaks after, the first thing he says to them, give that back. He's talking about his severed tentacle, but Aluara just throws it away. And then the squid says, hey, that wasn't very nice. Aluara's like, well, neither was trying to kill us. And he says some more things. It's obvious they're not going to get anywhere with talking to him. So Aluara asks again, so you're sure of how you went in the first time into the lair? And he says, yes. Aluara calls to Zixia. Zixia grabs her and throws her into the squid's mouth. And she yells to Canto, come on, Canto. Let's go. Canto, hurry. So Canto asks the Molrax, how is your aim, buddy? And he says, good. I assume that's what he says. He growls. So the Molrax throws Canto in, and they both land inside. Aluara lands and then catches Canto, preventing him from having more head trauma. Poor little guy keeps falling on his head all the time. So they look inside, and it's a lot more cluttered, Canto says, than what he remembers. I can't even remember how the lair looked the first time, honestly. I just remember the little spot where the hermit was with Canto and the Molrax, where she helped Canto train a bit, and also gave the Molrax fish to eat. That's what I remember, anyway. I don't know, it didn't seem as big, but perhaps it's because the Fury went in there and they begun to fight. Because there's scraps of metal all over the place. But then if the mechanical squid monster has been eating things and chips and stuff, then maybe that explains it. But yes, they're down there, thinking of what to do. Then suddenly there's a noise behind Canto, and this little dwarf? Gnome? Looks more like a dwarf, comes out of the scrap and says to Canto, my, aren't you an interesting contraption? Or what did he say, unique or interesting? Aluara grabs him all angry-like, and she says, he's not a contraption, his name is Canto. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to offend. His name is it's like IGGLE. Fuck it, I'll leave it on screen as well. I don't know what with these names. They need to come with an explanation how the fuck to pronounce them. Hey, we'll just call him the dwarf. I'm not bothering. So she drops the dwarf and they ask him, who are you? And he introduces himself. So he's like supposedly this great collector of treasures from in the whole unnamed world. That's how they call their world in this in the Canto universe. So he goes in and he digs out a cool spyglass and shows them and everything. So he's a collector of sorts. He came there, I guess, after the hermit was gone. I don't know if he was also swallowed by the mechanic squid. Unclear. Or maybe he operated the squid. And I'm not sure how it works. Oh, Aluara grabs his spyglass and throws it out, and she says, we're looking for, for scrolls and books and such things that belong to the hermit who was here before you. So he helps them by digging in some of the scrap on a pile, completely digging it out, and behind it there's the door to the hermit's quarters. I wonder maybe that's where Canto was last time, although I don't think so. Because where he was with the hermit had a little fireplace to cook on top. Yes, they go in and they see that the hermit has been writing the story of her people, the Vikin. She's been writing about them. There's sketches, all these scrolls and books. She seems to have very much missed her people and her home, but she couldn't go back. She had to be in exile. I don't remember exactly why. She had told Canto in the first story. She tells him why. I don't remember the exact reason though. I don't know if she did something. I know she has children and a family. I wonder if any of her children are alive. Anyway, they look through and Canto finds that the hermit thought that her people went to this place called Frista Wastes. Yeah, Fries the Wastes. Quite the name too. I'll also leave it here on screen for you. Anyway, it's a very that's where the new settlement is. It's a very cold land. Aluara says that nothing can survive there, and Canto answers, "Well, yeah, the perfect place to hide from the shrouded man." So they conclude that they must go there till Aluara questions Kanto, how sure are you that the people, the Vikings will actually, not submit to the Shrouded Man and actually fight? So he says, well, the Hermit found the courage to fight against the Shrouded Man. Perhaps they will as well. But that's it. It is decided they're going to go to this cold land. So they leave, they take some scrolls and maybe a few books with them. They can't see where they put them. And as they go out, the little dwarf guy's like, "You only took some scrolls, right? You didn't touch any of my treasures." As they both walk away, she's like, "How long do you think until someone arrives and takes that, a kraken, the mechanical kraken, she calls it, I think, from him?" And Kanto's like, "Not soon enough." Yeah, the little dwarf guy does seem like he can get a bit annoying on you. He really likes his shiny stuff. Well, they go and meet back with Zixia and the Molrax. Alara says that the Molrax will have to take both of them there because Zixia cannot survive in the cold weather. So they'll have to leave her behind. And Kanto's like, she won't be happy about it. And Alara says, neither will I. I wonder if she'll grab any warm clothes to go. Will Kanto need any? I'm still not sure about the Tin Men and the Kanto's, people. Are they created? They obviously don't eat. Food isn't an issue for them, but I wonder how it goes with heat. Will Kanto get very cold, or will that not affect him? I don't know. Well, that's it. That's with them. Then we go to the city, to the Emerald Tower in the city of Dis. And we see the Shrouded Man looking at a magical image of the princess, saying, why have you returned? Why now? After I've done everything to leave you behind. And he says, because of the little knight, right? Because of the little slave, because of Canto. Canto receiving his heart, the Shrouded Man's heart, awoken the princess. So, like I said, last issue, the first one, we learned that they were in fact real. So he, and then he gets all angry. He's like, "Begone, temptress, temptress." And he does some magic, and her image starts to disappear. And he's on the ground on his hands and knees and saying, "Please, please leave." So I wonder if he still has some sort of feelings. Oh shit, I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but because of the Shrouded Man's heart is inside of Canto, he can link to his thoughts. So that is a concern for them. Because when Aluara and Canto are in the hermit's cave, in her quarters, he says, because of me, the Shrouded Man might find out where they are. But Aluara assures them, saying, Canto, he'll find them with you or without you. So might as well go. So as he says, please, someone that calls him says, "Sire." And we see the red-clad Fury, and she has one of the Viking people, another goat. She drops him and she says, "I brought another Viking like you've asked, sir." And the Shrouded Man approaches him and says, "Are you going to, I take it you're not going to tell me what I want to know." Something to that extent. And this Viking's like, "Have mercy, I do not know." And then the Shrouded Man puts his hand before his face, and he sees what he needs, the information that he needs. So he tells him, but you do know. So I wonder, did she fly all the way to this cold land to get him? I guess not. Or maybe she did. The Shrouded Man tells the Fury to gather an army and to go and get the Vikings. He tells her to take her sisters. Now that confuses me. Does that mean they're alive? Because in the second story, Canto and the Hollow Man, both sisters seem to be killed. Because the Fury is devastated by that, yet does that mean they're back? Or are they fine? Or are they just injured all this time? But I don't know, it's a bit confusing. I guess we'll only see as in the next issue, perhaps, what happens. So yeah, the Fury flies away and the Shrouded Man says, I must stay here. I have other matters to attend to. And then he stands above this table and some bolts come out of his hand, and we see down below the entrance to the city of Dis, and Ricotta and Falco and some more Tin Men going towards the city. Yeah, and in the end of the first issue, Ricotta and Falco decide to still execute their plan and go to the city and attack the Shrouded Man. Fuck knows why they think that'll work. He already knows they're there. It does make me wonder, is something bad gonna happen to them? Because they didn't listen to Canto. I mean, I presume it will. The Shrouded Man is quite the bastard, so I don't know. Yeah, so that concludes, issue 2 of Canto Lionhearted. Yeah, that was, the story's developing. I gotta say, this had better pacing, I think. Less quick than the last story. There's always, I love this art style. I'll show you now a few pages. I do wonder what will happen. Well, in this story, will we finally see, the Shrouded Man being defeated? Or will we not? Will there be a fourth story? Because every time it seems like we're going to get close to it, but we don't. Now, this only has 6 issues, so it makes me wonder if we'll finally see Canto battling the Shrouded Man again, and this time putting his heart back in. What will happen to Canto as well? Because he'll have to sacrifice himself for this purpose. No, that's left to be seen. Right, let's get to the art, sorry. Again, I can only show you a few pages. There we go. There's some variant covers. No, that's the regular. Yeah, that's the standard. Then there's an incentive cover. Quite cool, isn't it? So there we go. There's Luara, Zixia. There's Canto. There they are in front of the lake. See, Canto's there. And there we go. And this is the monster. Look at that. Yeah, you see he's kind of a squid. I guess Kraken should have been a better description for him, perhaps. But yeah, there he is. There we go. As he opens his eye there. Yeah, so this was good. I'm so glad to be back to reading this. Feel bad that I gotten so lazy with it, but oh well. At least now I'm back to it, and I'll hopefully have all the issues. I'm still missing number 6, but I don't know where number 4 and 5 are, so after I get to 3, it'll probably be I guess sort of an intermission till I don't get to those comics. Hell knows where they are. Alright, folks, so that is it. Let me think. Let me know what you thought of this one. Have you been reading Canto? What do you think of the story, the world, the characters? And that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!